by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
President Trump delivered his first State of the Union last night. I'm Hannah Doba in Washington with more on what he had to say about the country and the Democrats' response. Coming up, I take a look at the latest Veterans Court that has come to Gallatin County.
Good morning. It's 6:29 on your Wednesday, the lunar eclipse, supermoon, blood moon, full moon type of morning. We'll get to all that with Matt in just a moment. In his first State of the Union address, President Trump called for unity and struck a conciliatory tone as he laid out his plans for the upcoming year.
Among the topics he dove a bit deeper into, immigration. His stance on that may very well dictate whether the government will face threat from another shutdown next week. CBS's Hannah Doba is on Capitol Hill with more on the president's speech and on the Democratic response.
The state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
President Trump, in his first State of the Union address, touted all of the areas he sees as successes since Inauguration Day. Job creation, stock market gains, tax cuts. The hot button issue, though, that could bring the government towards the brink of another shutdown in about a week, immigration.
Tonight, I am extending an open hand to work with members of both parties.
As expected, Mr. Trump called for the construction of a southern border wall, an end to visa lotteries, and family-based immigration. In exchange, he offered a path to citizenship for 1.8 million illegal immigrants brought here as children.
Under our plan, those who meet education and work requirements and show good moral character will be able to become full citizens of the United States.
In their official response, Democrats, through Massachusetts Representative Joe Kennedy III, told DACA Dreamers, quote, "We will fight for you." He then went after the divisiveness of the Trump administration's first year.
Bullies may land a punch. They may leave a mark. But they have never, not once in the history of our United States, managed to match the strength and spirit of a people united in defense of their future.
On an issue both sides applauded, President Trump called for a $1.5 trillion infrastructure spending plan, though he did not talk much of where that money would come from. Hannah Doba, CBS News, Washington.
Now, the president also announced that just before delivering the address, he signed an executive order that reverses an Obama administration policy by keeping the military base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, open.
Interesting. A lot to follow and follow up on that as well. And all of Montana's federal lawmakers responded to the president's address. We start with Republican U.S. Senator Steve Daines.
Tonight, we heard the president speak of a nation that is stronger and more secure. And together, we will secure our borders. We'll improve our crumbling infrastructure. We're going to pass a farm bill that works for Montana and address the national parks maintenance backlog. I very much look forward to working with President Trump, Vice President Pence, and the administration on these important priorities. Let's continue to make America great again.
I heard a strong message from the president tonight that spoke to Montana's hardworking families. I look forward to working with the president on issues around infrastructure, particularly as it applies to rural America. I look forward to working with the president on making sure our borders are secure and making sure that we can stop the drug flow into this country and that we can stop the illegal commerce.
President Trump's message was clear. The state of our union is strong. I agree with his assessment. America is special. Regardless of background, we have the opportunity to earn a decent living, raise a family, own a home, contribute to our communities, and retire comfortably. To get there, we work hard, persevere, and take personal responsibility. That's the American dream. Opportunity is the cornerstone of our country. The President and Congress have taken steps to open the doors of opportunity for all Americans. We've worked to grow our economy, increase wages, and create good-paying jobs.
6:33 now on this Wednesday. Meteorologist Matt Elwell comes back in from being
Like a little
outside, taking a
schoolboy.
picture of the moon and
He's
being
so
out there.
excited.
It's phenomenal.
Blue blood supermoon.
Yes.
First time in 150 years.
Unreal.
That's just awesome.
Grab that cup of coffee and take a look.
Absolutely.
As a
After
matter
we
of
do
fact,
this.
I will show you. You don't even have to go outside.
That's perfect. That's good.
Yeah, we do have the blue blood supermoon. It's barely visible. We're at the max eclipse right now. We'll continue with the full eclipse through the morning show. and then the partial will end behind the horizon, so we won't actually see the end of the show. But we'll see this show.
We'll see the end of the show.
Yeah. Temperatures into the teens and 20s right now. We do have a few clouds, crystal clear in West Yellowstone, according to Ken Davis, our weather watcher there. Thank you, Ken, for sending us that report. A good chance we could see a few isolated snowflakes throughout the day. We're going to talk about what the rest of the week and heading into the weekend brings. It's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:34 on this Wednesday. The ACLU of Montana filed a lawsuit yesterday to allow certain types of nurses to perform abortions in Montana. ACLU says the suit seeks to expand access to abortion in Montana and help a whitefish clinic that had been shut down by vandalism. The suit asks a state judge to strike down a Montana law that allows only physicians and physician assistants to perform abortions. It argues that advanced nurse practitioners and nurse midwives can provide abortion safely and should be allowed to do so. In Montana, one of the plaintiffs in the suit is a nurse practitioner who hopes to offer abortion services at the All Family Healthcare Clinic in Whitefish. Clinic was the only abortion provider in the Flathead Valley when it was destroyed by vandalism back in 2014. It plans to reopen next month. American Civil Liberties Union Executive Director Caitlin Borgman says the suit is not just about the Whitefish Clinic, but rather about making legal service more available in Montana.
So out of our 56 counties, only 7% of Montana counties have an abortion provider. 93% lack any abortion provider. Some Montanans have to travel more than 150 miles to reach an abortion provider. So what this would do would be to expand the pool of qualified healthcare providers who can safely provide abortions under Montana law, which improves access.
By the way, Montana Attorney General Tim Fox is the main defendant of that lawsuit. His office says it will review the suit and then respond accordingly.
In other news, on your Wednesday morning, Ennis schools went into lockdown yesterday. The lockdown occurred just after 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning after law enforcement got a call from an anonymous source of a threat to the Ennis school building. The lockdown lasted until after it was determined that the information from the call was not a threat to students and faculty. Law enforcement continues to investigate that phone call, and the Chief of Police, John Moore, assures us that investigators have identified the number that the threat came from.
We cannot verify the threat at this point in time. We are checking the leads that we received from the phone call. However, at this point in time, the school is back to normal, and it's business as usual here at Ennis schools. We do not consider there to be an ongoing threat right now.
Now, the Ennis Police Department and the Madison County Sheriff's Department have located the cell phone in question and the cell phone's owner. Authorities say there is no threat to the school or the community at this time.
A new type of treatment for veterans coming to the Gallatin Valley, something called a Veterans Court. MTN's Morgan Davies has more on the program and the success it has seen in Montana.
Veterans Court has been brought to Gallatin County after several Montana cities have seen success with the program. Many people here are eager to see what Veterans Court can do for our community.
So Gallatin County has the highest amount of veterans in the state, and we are second highest in the country for per capita veterans. So having this many veterans in this community, we really do believe that it's going to be helpful and it's really necessary.
The goal of the treatment court is to give veterans a structured plan to get them out of the court system and back into the community. Veterans courts throughout Montana focus on felony charges. However, the Gallatin County Treatment Court will also accept misdemeanors.
Not only will we have the misdemeanors that are coming from our court, which we can do pre-conviction, but we'll be able to also take misdemeanors from other courts like Justice Court or other counties, even Madison County or Park County.
Another important component of the Veterans Court that makes it different is the mentor program.
If they have any questions about the court system and how it works and what they're going to do next and any of those types of questions, we will answer those, as well as any community services that we can provide them.
For many vets that have gone through the treatment court in other counties, their mentor becomes a shoulder to lean on, as well as someone to lift them up.
We're in it with them right from the beginning, right through the end, to graduation, and we really want to make sure that they succeed, and we'll do everything we can to help them.
Veterans Court will officially begin on February 6th. Reporting from the Law and Justice Center, Morgan Davies, MTN News.
Now, Morgan tells us if you'd like to become a mentor or for Veterans Court, you can find information to sign up on our websites.
And in Billings, Ozzie, one of the Zoo Montana's 2 grizzly bears, has made his pick for the winner of the Super Bowl. Initially, his decision wasn't very clear, but after whipped cream, marshmallows, strawberries were added on top of the cakes, Ozzie chose the Philadelphia Eagles over the New England Patriots. This is the first of the year that the furry guy chose from the team of the NFC division. So far, he is 4-1 in his picks. The grizzly cakes were made using banana, Nutella, marshmallow cream, pepperoni treats, and pecans. Bruno, Ozzie's fellow grizzly, received his own cake after the main event. So there you have it.
Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Goodkin not super happy about that pick, by the way.
What are you going to do?
Die-hard Patriots fan.
What are you going to do?
There you go. That's it.
Well, hey, if you got Nutella, I'll go.
Bear nose, man. The bear nose. You put whipped cream on it, bear nose. Bear nose all.
We do have to take a quick break. Up next, the false alarm that sent Hawaii residents and tourists into panic mode. What happened and the current status of the person who set that alarm, that's all ahead.
But first, let's check in with Nora O'Donnell for a look at what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning, President Trump outlines his goals for the country in his first State of the Union address. How will they be achieved? We'll talk to West Virginia's Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio. And the push for Facebook to cut its Messenger Kids app, why some say the tool geared for those under 13 years old is harmful. We'll see you at 7.